Meatloaf yet?
I did.
We had ours last night for dinner. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was very good.
We did.
The meal prep class. Yeah, I did it yesterday. I'm doing a report on it tonight for my, yeah.
Really fun.
Mrs. Wiggum sent me some pictures, so I have a little visual, yeah. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. It was good.
No, it was delightful.
Yeah. Even learned a little bit.
I believe
can't-
that. I believe that.
Did you know putting knives in the dishwasher dulls them?
Yes, I did know that. Yeah.
I did not, although I don't have a dishwasher, so I'm the dishwasher. I know. I know. I would like one. I just don't have room in my kitchen doesn't allow for it. There isn't room. Oh.
All right, we are mostly here. I apologize for the delay. We're just coming out of another meeting. So without any further ado, we are missing, looks like 2 of our members. I knew Kathy wouldn't be here, but I don't see Patricia either. But Kendra is here with us, along with the board members. So we will go ahead and start our disenrollment investigation and grievance committee meeting here. 6:35. Okay, I'd just like to welcome everyone. I want to make note, I had written first public comment time just because on the last agenda, which I kind of copy over from time to time, I had first written there, but just to note, we're probably not going to have time for a second one. So if anyone does want to do public comment time, I'm going to open that up for that in just a few minutes. I did want to go over, we just had a meeting last week, so we've been kind of getting some things done. We do have on the agenda tonight the new student survey. We had done that last year as well, and we didn't really make any changes to it, but we thought it was valuable to reach out to the new families to see what they have to offer, what they knew from their old schools, and what might be something that we could implement here that they liked, or something that things also that we do here that they liked that they didn't have at their other school. So we just thought it's nice to kind of reach out to those families and officially welcome them to the district. So we put that on the agenda for tonight for the board. And if anyone would like to give public comment, this would be the time. Okay, no one? Alrighty, moving along to number 1, continued items. First, we need approval of the committee minutes from the 31st, last week. Do I have a motion to approve the committee minutes? Motion, Kendra. Second, Lisa. I'll assume we're all voting in the affirmative unless I hear otherwise. Okay. And then the revised letter or email and the updated survey language. We worked on that extensively last time and made a lot of revisions from what we had. I think there may still be a couple things that needed revised. I was looking over it, and Lisa was helping me out with it. A lot of the revisions came from her at the last meeting, so she had the document already ready to go. But I was looking over it. We may want to revisit. We had talked last time about the lists of people, and on the respect section, it's a little different even than what we had last time. And it's a little awkward, I think. As I was looking over it, I was like, this is probably not quite what we want. I know we talked about changing it to match a couple of the other sections, which we have. We have 2 different ones. One was communication, which is a little bit more streamlined. And we have the who was involved in the bullying section, like that list. We had changed that a little bit last time to district office administration, kind of differentiate so people understand who we're talking about when we say administration. Coach, building principal, student, teachers, staff, and other. And at the end of the meeting, we talked about changing also that list in the respect section, like streamlining it a little bit. But I think instead we ended up copying the list that we had on one of the lists and just made it twice. And then it doesn't quite make sense because we have who was not giving appropriate respect. We have students, and then later on we have other students. So I guess we just need to look at that and decide what we're doing. If anybody has any suggestions you want, I know what we thought we were going to do is change the who was not giving appropriate respect to the more streamlined list identical to what is under bullying. Is that what we want to do? I mean, I'm going to let it up to you guys or to motion for that if that's what you want.
I think you're going to have an other there, so it says it's writing their own choices also.
Yes, it does have an other. It does have another.
I
That's okay.
misunderstood that.
Yeah, that's okay. I looked at it after I sent it off quickly that morning and was like, oh, I don't know, that doesn't look quite right. So
So it's to match the bully section.
if you all agree that that's reasonable, we will go ahead and change the who was not giving appropriate respect section. We'll just scratch all of that is there and make that mirror the answers to the question on who was involved in the bullying. Anybody opposed to that change?
Do you need a motion to make?
Yeah, let's go ahead and make a motion for that.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to make that change.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. And the same, I think we expanded the list on that question above that, who was not receiving appropriate respect. We had that section also greatly expanded, I think, somehow. So, it just seems like there's too many on here. So we probably need to pare that down to just our student, parents, teachers, district office administration, I guess we can keep on there, building principal, assistant principal. But I think these originally were like designed for like who wasn't giving respect. So I don't know. We probably want to scratch some of those off.
Yeah, when you said mirror, I thought you meant mirroring those two items, and then that's how I adjusted it. I'm sure you caught what I was doing.
Yeah,
So
I was looking at it, I
apologize. That
pulled it
was
up,
my
and I was like,
misunderstanding.
yeah, I think there's too many people on here.
I was just making sure you were paying attention.
So, I mean, originally, which I don't have that in front of me without pulling up the email.
Oh, do you want to
Let's
know what
see.
the original one said?
Originally, we
I have it
had
here.
our student, we had parents, teachers, administration. So, I mean, we could leave the district office administration, building principal, assistant principal, all kind of lined out there. We had ancillary staff. And we had students with special educational needs. All students. We could leave other students, I would think, instead of all students. I mean, and bus driver and taxpayer citizens. We can remove those two, I would think, since we're streamlining it. So, and then we have like the list that showed up on here. We'll just ixnay that. So we'll keep, and you guys can agree or add more, but as for now, or who was not receiving appropriate respect, we'll keep our student, parents, teachers, district office administration, building principal, assistant principal, ancillary staff. I don't know. Student aid is also in there. It wasn't on the original list. But I feel like we're just diving a little too far out. We'll have other at the end as well. So I'll make sure I add that on that bottom. So we'll stick after assistant principal, then we'll have ancillary staff, and then students with special educational needs, other students, and other. Is that okay? You want me to read that one more time, or are you guys good with that? To motion for that change? Okay. All right. If I could have a motion to streamline that list.
Second.
Lisa and Seth. Okay, so we have those changes. We'll just motion for the document as is then, unless there's anything else anybody said all or wants changed. Okay. I think everything else was okay. Our discussions last time. Okay. So let's start by motioning for the letter and the disenrollment survey with adjustments to be ready to go to the board, but then we'll have to discuss some other things. I had put on here, let's go ahead and add that in. I put on here, at 1 month post-disenrollment or when the district is notified. Because at our last meeting, we discussed how long it takes sometimes for us to know when a student disenrolled. We don't always have that right. They don't necessarily come to us and tell us, but instead sign up for the other charter school, and then we learn about it sometime later. So either 1 month post-disenrollment or whenever the district is notified, whichever is later. Does that seem reasonable? I know we've gone back and forth like 3 times on timing. So thoughts on that? Sooner's better. Yeah, probably. Maybe not like the next day, but that's why I thought 1 month is a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make a motion to move the letter and updated survey language as we've adjusted to the board to distribute at 1 month post-disenrollment or when the district is notified, whichever is later. And we will also be including all disenrollments from this school year and then all disenrollments moving forward.
Motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, everyone in favor of that? All right. Then new items for discussion. Any old business? First of all, I think we've probably hashed out everything old. Skipped over that. Okay. New items for discussion, the post-graduation survey. A recommendation for administration to begin a post-graduation survey to monitor graduate success and find areas for improvement. For a little background, for those of you that may not have been here last time, we discussed this at length at the last meeting, and Dr. Garante agreed. A lot of schools do this. I don't know if you want to add a little about that at the moment.
We just have to determine who's already, which parts of our district are already open to this type of it, meaning it already takes place.
Already
And then
is
try to
happening,
figure out
right?
how we can make it comprehensive.
Yes. Okay. And then we will be, this is just kind of basically handing the recommendation over
Yeah.
to you guys to just do with that what you would like, but just making the recommendation that we think the feedback that could come from that. And also the opportunity for growth, where if we can see how our students are doing a year out, we might be able to improve our processes and the education we provide. Any further, do we have a motion for that, to move that forward?
Yeah, I'll motion to move that forward.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
Any further discussion on that item? Okay. I'll assume we're all voting in the affirmative. Okay, and then on to the staff survey. I had accidentally written teacher survey, but I think this is really designed for all staff. Staff survey. What do we have for that, guys?
All right, I titled it School Performance Snapshot. I figured that would be a decent title for it. It has multiple sections, so there's a curriculum section, a communication section, a camaraderie section, students section, discipline section, technology and resources section, and school environment and safety section, and a parent community engagement section. So out of those sections so far, I have about 6 questions per section.
Okay.
They're all scale-based, so it's how well do you think we're doing at this? So, example, how would you rate the overall quality of the curriculum being taught in the school? And then it has a 1 through 5, 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. And most of the questions follow that standard. So I was trying to stay away from definitive questions, so questions that are like, how bad is the school doing, or how good is the school doing? So what I'm trying to do is like, how well do you feel the curriculum meets the needs of the students, including those with different learning styles. So again, that would be graded on a scale. Do you feel that the curriculum is regularly updated to reflect current trends in research and education? Again, that's going to be on a scale. So all the questions are like that. I have 6 per category right now. I'm still working on getting a lot more questions, and I can send out what I have so far to everybody. But the last meeting we did talk about seeing some of the old questionnaires that teachers had taken so that we can make sure we cover those bases too.
Yeah, I have only the overviews, I think, that we were provided, so maybe Dr. Ferrante can help you with some of those if, you know, what actual questions are for those. But I think we had just an overview, so we were able to see like the worst rated question, maybe the best rated question, as far as what the questions were, so that we could at least make sure that we're measuring the same types of things as what they were getting before. But maybe Dr. Grante can help you out with that. And also, this will be probably the big item of discussion for the next meeting next week. So if it gets sent out to us, and then we can put out what you have already on the agenda for next time, then we can hash that out greatly at the next meeting and with more detail.
I said, Lisa's my editor, so she's got to get a hold of this at some point.
Right.
Seth, could you advise what the category was with work curriculum? I think I missed one here.
Curriculum's the first.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, then I didn't go.
And then there was communication. I guess the communication is mainly the teachers and the administration's communication. Camaraderie is like the teachers and the teachers and how well they get along together. Security and technology, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's, you know, can you think our security measures, or how do you rate our security measures 1 to 5, you know? So just to get a feel on how the staff, the whole body of the staff sees the school district and where they see the school district being at. So it would give us a great insight to where even the staff thinks that we're doing, or it thinks we're doing something great in a certain area. So I think that would help us figure out where we're at.
It was tech and then there was a second. What was the second part to it?
School environment and safety, and then what's the tech one?
It was right above that
Technology
one.
and resources.
And resources. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll just plan on discussing that at the next meeting.
So an example question on the technology and resources, do you feel the school provides adequate training when using educational technology? So that would be a 1 through 5 again, and then you score very good or needs improvement, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else you want to share about that, Seth or Kendra? Is that it for now? Okay. So moving on to the list of future items for consideration, we still have kind of as outliers for possible consideration later, the Keola Performance and Satisfaction Survey cost evaluation. We talked a little bit about that last time. That may change a little bit based on our conversations. Maybe we'll be more looking at what it might take to get our own cyber program going, which may have already kind of been in the discussions at the administrative office. And then the other was the bullying/discipline action plan. I know a lot of this is kind of being handled now through policy, but we also had to talk about there is no like tip line. I know we are working on a new website, so they aren't really making changes to the current one, but we talked about how the website is a little difficult to find these things, so I didn't really want to let that drop off the list quite yet, because it might be something we want to revisit at a later date. Is there any other new items or motions for discussion?
I think even though we don't have a tip line, we do participate in the Safety to Save program, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anything else?
No, I think we just need clearer instruction on how to go about making a report.
Yeah.
I mean, the parent instructions, because there's nothing on the website indicating how to proceed.
Yeah. I had also put in here for the new item situation. I was looking at the website today. Probably when this gets moved forward with the handing out of the disenrollment survey again, but to new people that disenrolled, we probably need to change that language because it's now, that will be outdated. So as that occurs, we'll just update that to a more appropriate language there. It's right now addressed to, what dates that they disenrolled and who it was going to go to and all that. So we'll just update that. And that's all I have to bring up. Anything else? Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay, assuming we're all voting in the affirmative. And that concludes the disenrollment committee meeting.